All right, beautiful soul. Welcome back to You Unlimited podcast. I'm your host, Christina Deering, and I was just channeling on what your soul is most desiring to receive today. So if you're tuning in, I always ask that you be magnetized into these podcasts. And so I was asking for those that are tuning in, what is it that their soul most desires to receive today that's going to help take them from A all the way to Z, right? You've got the thing that you are going towards. You've set this beautiful, powerful intention of what you want to step into and what would help you get there faster. And so a lot of people ask me, how do I get into alignment with what I want? How do I manifest what I want? That process is a little confusing to me. And so I'm going to start to kind of break it down. And what I'm really excited about today is I'm going to be talking about this in probably a brand new way that I think you've heard of some of the concepts, but I love breaking it down in a way that's going to make it tangible, like something you can actually sink your teeth into and do something with. I feel like sometimes the language and manifestation feels so like just raise your vibe, like be high vibe, and I'm like, do I always have to be high vibe? Like, will I not receive what I want if I'm pissed off right now? Like, this doesn't work for me. Like, I won't always be high vibe. Like, give me more. How else can I lean into this manifestation process? So today, what we're really going to be honing in on is the idea of when people say raise your vibration so that you can be in alignment with what you want. I'm going to kind of break down some of these concepts so that you can better understand how to actually lean in and receive and kind of play with the magic of each of these concepts that help bring in the thing that you want with even more potency, right? And faster. So, first of all, when we think about the idea of vibration versus frequency, a lot of people use these kind of interchangeably, almost as if they're twins, but they're actually cousins. And so I'm going to kind of break that down a little bit. So, when we think about the difference, it's kind of like vibration is the song and frequency is the radio station that you're tuning into. So I'm going to say that again. Vibration is the song and frequency is the radio station that you're tuning into. So how does that translate into our day-to-day life? Vibration is essentially your emotion. So how am I feeling? And the way that I'm feeling overall, like on average, the way that I'm feeling overall is going to get me into alignment on a certain frequency with opportunities, people, circumstances that are either aligned with what I want or not aligned with what I want. So, what that means is the way that I start to really break this down is I start to tune into the thing that I desire to start to call in. I always ask myself, how would that make me feel? And I tune into that emotion. Is the predominant emotion peace? Is it joy? Is it unconditional love? Is it excitement? Like, what is that feeling? And then I ask myself, okay, so now I've got a template, I've got a compass for what I need to start feeling more often, what I get to start feeling more often, right? So for me, that always feels like peace, it always feels like joy, and it feels like excitement. So all three of those are kind of coupled together. So I ask myself this question. I say, okay, great. So now I know where it's operating on a vibration, right? My goal is how can I access more joy, more peace, more excitement in my day-to-day life? Because what that's doing is it's allowing me now to be in a vibrational frequency, raise my vibration, be in a different frequency that will align me with people, circumstances, and opportunities that are in alignment with the thing that I desire to call in. So, I mean, what a great, exciting piece of the puzzle, which is like, oh, darn, I have to feel more excited today. Oh, darn, I have to feel more peaceful today. And so that's gonna be different for every single person. So whatever that emotion is, I want you to now start to ask yourself, and maybe you start to make a list of what are the things that actually have me feel more peaceful, more joyful, or whatever the emotion is, the predominant emotion is. What do I do in my day-to-day life, or what are the things that have me feel this way? So when I start to tune into that, it's little things like going on a walk with my dog, right? Being outside in nature, meditating, playing with my son. I just think about the little things that I do that get me really excited. What has me feeling peace? What has me feeling joyful? I think about the things that make me laugh. Can I access more of that today? Right? Like little things that will make me laugh will be different from the things that make you laugh. So start to tune into what is the unique thing that makes you laugh that you can tune into and watch more and more often, right? Or just access more of. So for me, the things that make me laugh, I love watching people who prank their husbands. I like things like that. Like That just makes me laugh so hard. I think it reminds me of my childhood. I got pranked a lot and vice versa. And so that kind of stuff just makes me laugh so hard. So I think I might start pranking Brad a little more often just for shits and giggles, right? And I'll just be like, oh, this is me like manifesting in what I want. Sorry, babe, I have to do this. So the goal is start to actually feel into the thing that you desire so that it's bringing you to a higher frequency, right? When we feel more peace, when we feel more joy, when we feel more excitement, now we're accessing other people that are kind of on that same vibrational frequency as us, which is beautiful. Now, I want to talk about the flip side of that because I think a lot of times people are like, well, great, now I have to be always excited, always joyful, always peaceful. And the answer is absolutely not. And that's not, honestly, that would be spiritually bypassing if you were just 24/7 happy and not experiencing any of the human emotions. I even think sometimes about like, maybe there's Buddhist monks that are that are meditating all day long and they're experiencing, ecstatic feelings of joy or just overwhelming peace for like 24 hours a day. I think that's beautiful. But for the most part, if you're tuning into this podcast, you're probably not a monk or you're not meditating 24 hours a day because you're now tuned into something that's not just God, right? Although I am channeling God, source, universe, which is fun. So the beauty of this is to start to really recognize that there is the counterpart of this too, which is beautiful. So to me, when I'm experiencing a lower vibration, I actually say thank you because it is a puzzle piece on areas of my life that I get to heal. Because what you're going to do is you're going to set an intention. You're essentially going to say, okay, my intention is I am a seven-figure business owner, right? Whatever it is you're calling it, I am this, right? I always like to set intentions versus goals, by the way. Goals to me always feel like pass fail. Like my goal is to make seven figures. If I don't have it yet, then I failed, versus an intention is more of like an embodiment, an identity. And so the intention is, let's say if that's your quote unquote what you're desiring to move towards, you can say I am a seven-figure business owner. Now you start to embody that. What would she wear today? What would she say yes to? What would she say no to? You start to really tune into the energy of that and start to embody that more and more and get closer and closer to it. So it's not pass fail, it's you leaning into the energy of, which is really beautiful. So with that in mind, you've set your intention, you know how it feels. Now you're tuning into that more often. And then all of a sudden something happens and you're feeling deeply frustrated, angry, you feel ashamed, you feel, all of the different emotions. This is actually what happens is you basically say, I want to expand into the version of me that can hold this. And the universe is like, great. I'm going to trigger all the things that are happening in your life currently so that you can heal and release those that will then allow you to hold that bigger vision, right? Because if you could already hold the bigger vision, you'd be holding it right now. So there is something that you have to inevitably, most likely clear, unless you set the intention and you have it that same day or very shortly thereafter, there was nothing in the way. But for a lot of us that as we start to tune in, or for like some of our biggest intentions that we set, there's usually things that we have to heal that are in the way. And so there's beauty in that. And the beauty in that is to start to say, thank you for the clarity on what's been in the way of what I want. So, for instance, if you're saying, yes, I am so grateful to be a seven-figure business owner, I am a seven-figure business owner, whatever that intention is, there might be something that happens where maybe you post something online, it goes viral, and you get a lot of judgment. And all of a sudden you're feeling ashamed, you're feeling embarrassed, you're feeling like, oh, I should delete that, right? This is essentially what's happening is your buttons are being pushed so that you're aware that you have buttons, right? I remember hearing James Wedmore say this on the Manifestation Babe podcast and thinking like that resonates so much. Like your buttons are being pushed so that you know that you have buttons, right? And so the beauty in that is recognizing like the buttons were already there. So it's not about the people that are poking at the buttons. It's about recognizing the buttons were already there. Now there are people that are poking it to make you aware that there was this deep fear of judgment. So, in order to, let's say, scale your business to seven figures, that means you may be in the spotlight more. How do you handle that? How do you handle when people don't necessarily agree with you? You have to heal these things that have been in the way so that you can hold the bigger vision. Because maybe coupled with the seven figure business is also simultaneously a brand that's bigger, more eyeballs on you, more expansion in that way. Maybe that includes being a keynote speaker or different things where you're kind of stepping into the spotlight more. And so what that means is now there's more eyeballs. And so now the universe is getting you ready for what that looks like. How do you start to heal what's in the way? So this actually happened to me. I posted something on TikTok, it went crazy viral, and I got a lot of like really nasty comments on it. And I remember being like complete like I was just like, "Oh my gosh," like questioning like is everything that they said true? I'm so embarrassed. Like I just remember, feeling complete shame, complete guilt, like all the things that just came up for me specifically around that. And then I remember channeling and I remember kind of sitting with this and kind of like tuning in and saying, okay, what is really alive for me? And basically, what was coming through was it wouldn't sting unless there's a part of you that fears they might be right. So I'll say that again. It would not sting unless there's a part of you that fears they could be right. So what that means is if someone were to say, Christina, you're a pink dinosaur, I'd be like, you're high. Like, that's weird. I'd be like, that's a weird thing to say. But if someone were to say, like, Christina, you're a bad mom, and there was a part of me that was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And this is, by the way, this post that went viral, this was when I was like newly postpartum. I just had my son. I was like brand new to the mothering thing. And all of a sudden, all of these comments were coming through like, you suck, you're a bad mom, I hate you. And I remember being like, oh my gosh. And the reason it stung was at that moment in time, I was absolutely questioning if I was a good mom or not. Like, I think every single first time mother that steps into that like portal, you're like, what am I doing? Everything is new. I'm terrible at this. I'm tired. I don't know what's happening. This is just like too much. It's just all the things all at once. Right. And so, what I channeled was, Christina, there's a part of you that fears they might be right. So now you know what you need to heal because you're actually an incredible mother, but the fear came to the surface so you could see it and move it, rewrite it, feel it, start to release that. So the ways that we start to release that are many different ways. So you could lean in with a healer, someone like me that does what I do that helps you move the energy around the big things that are blocking you from the thing that you desire most, right? So you can help move the energy. There's many different ways we can move things that have been in the way. Sometimes it's as easy as shifting the thought in your mind. Like sometimes it really is that simple. If it is, that means you've probably done the work to easily shift it, right? Like there's not that much attachment to the old way of being, right? If I'm just easily able to be like, oh, that's not even true. Like it's actually this, that means I've probably done the work or it wasn't a trigger to begin with. But usually it's deeper than that. Usually it's like we're trying to shift it and there's like a part of us that's like, it's not working. I feel like I'm really faking this. Like I'm trying to say I'm a good mom, but I don't feel like that yet. That means there's something deeper that we need to explore. Usually it's generational. Usually it's like 12 layers deeper than the thing, right? It's like the all the way and why that and why that and why that all the way underneath the surface. And so that allows us to really start to move the energy that's been living in the cells of our body, whether or not we're aware of it. And now what that does is when I've been pointed in the right direction, of the thing that isn't working for me, right? The fear of judgment. Now I can heal it, I can move it, and my overall vibration is even higher on average, right? Like we feel the lower vibrational frequencies to know that they're already living there. So we don't want to ignore them. They're still there, even if we ignore them. The goal is heal it, release it so that your overall vibration is going to raise a little bit higher and a little bit higher. Every time we heal, it's going to raise a little bit more. And so that's the beauty and the part of the process of manifestation is to say, heal what's in the way of what you want. It's like one of the biggest pieces of the puzzle piece. It's like we can't always fake it till we make it. We got to start to actually take a look at what's holding me back. Why don't I want to show up? What is this huge fear? Why am I procrastinating? Right? For every single person, it'll be different. And the goal is to start to move the big energy around what it is that you're feeling. Right. So, one of the things too that I wanted to share that I think is really powerful and important is when we want to access more of those higher frequency or higher vibrational emotions. One of the things that I love to do that's a little tip and trick, so definitely do this when you can, is I love to use the NLP technique of anchoring. And what that means is, let's say, like I was saying before, the thing that I want to manifest has me feeling more joy in my body. So my goal is, how can I experience more joy? So when I'm in a moment where I'm experiencing pure joy, right? Something that just feels so good, so joyful in my body, I will do something with my body and I will anchor that feeling in. So, for instance, maybe I will rub my thumb and my middle finger and my pointer together, right? If you're watching on YouTube, you can kind of see what I'm doing. Or maybe I just tap my foot when I'm in joy. I just do some sort of an anchor point with my body so that I'm telling my body that next time I do that, it's going to bring me right back into that bodily sensation. Right? So down the road, tomorrow, a week from today, a year from today, I might tap my foot or rub my fingers together again when I feel like I need to experience more joy or just amplify that feeling. Somatically, it's going to bring me back into that experience. And so I 10 out of 10 recommend this. So let's say peace is the overwhelming emotion that you want to feel. After you do a meditation, I would say do an anchor point, right? Or that when you're feeling something that's so peaceful, anchor that in and it's going to allow you to, from there, to start to really access that more and more frequently. So maybe during the day, you just do a little check in with yourself, like anchor it in again, anchor it in again. How does that feel in my body? Because if you can get your body on board with an emotion, the mind so much more easily follows, right? I think so. It's so much has been spent on like mindset. And I think that's beautiful. But it's a lot harder to shift our mind when our body is in a full it's just not, like if our nervous system is on edge, it's hard to shift our thinking, right? If we're in fear, fight or flight, we can't just be like, oh, never mind, it's no big deal, right? We usually need to calm the body first, and then we can start to have the mind catch up with me like, okay, I feel safe now. I'm in a safe location. Okay, everything is safe, right? But it's almost always we need to calm the body first or have the body feel something first, and then we can experience that sensation in the mind, right? We need to feel the sensation in the body first to then experience it in the mind. So that's why NLP, like these techniques, this anchoring is really powerful because what it's going to do is it's going to invite you now to change your mind about the thing that you were holding on to. Make sense? So, this is kind of the process that I walk myself through. This is like a very kind of summarized version of the manifestation process, but I wanted to give you something that was a little bit simple to follow. I didn't want to give you like a 12-step process, especially if you're listening audibly, it might feel like, okay, that's a big process. So I wanted to just give you just a couple processes to just allow that to be something that helps you step into the thing that you desire most. So, let's go over that process again. One, set your intention versus goal. So, what do I intend to move towards? I am a 7-figure business owner, or I am with my dream soulmate, whatever that looks like, right? So, you are stepping into the identity of that being, of that person. What is she saying yes to? What is she saying no to? What is she wearing today? Right? So, there's the identity. Now, when I think about the identity and it already happening, how do I feel in my body? I feel peace. I feel joy. Great. Now, the step after that is how can I access more of that feeling in my day to day? So, start to take notice of or make a list of the things that have you feel that and do that more. Because what it does is when you raise your vibration, it gets you on a different frequency and it's going to align you with miracle opportunities, people, situations, things of that nature. The next part of that is to recognize when your vibration is low and to actually thank that vibration, right? To thank that emotion and say, thank you for revealing yourself because you're already living here. So thank you for revealing yourself because now I can actually heal you, right? I can understand what is the 5 to 12 layers deeper where this is actually coming from. So the goal is to then say, let me move that lower vibrational emotion. I'm not going to ignore it anymore because it's still living there. Numbing is an active process. It's important for me to then say, let me move this. Let me move the energy around this, right? And then we move the energy around that. And then that allows us to, again, have a higher embodied vibration, again, getting us into a higher frequency, aligning us with the things that we want so that it can come in so much faster. So that's kind of a summarized version of how to quote unquote get into alignment with the thing that you want. But I wanted to have it feel like something you could actually sink your teeth into, have it feel something that you could actually move towards versus having it be kind of like pie in the sky. I don't even know what to do with these concepts. I wanted it to be something that you could say, like, okay, I've got some steps. And now I know that, hey, I get to have more fun today, or I get to have more joy or more peace today. And that's actually the thing that's going to get me closer to what I want. Right. So I think that's really, really important is if you want to build a business where you're feeling peaceful, you're feeling joyful, you're feeling grateful, you're feeling all of these things, access those more and more every day versus being like, I have to grind. I can't feel peaceful till I get it. I can't feel joyful until I get it. I can't feel. Now you're just building from that emotion. Now you're just going to feel more of that emotion when you get there. Right. So the goal is feel it now so that you can have more of that when you get there. Right. Because when you get there, it's just going to make that energy even bigger. So be conscious of the energy you're in now. What it's going to do is magnify itself when you get to that location. Right. So, okay, beautiful soul. I'm so grateful. I hope you received something so beautiful, so potent and magical, exactly what your heart and soul were desiring to tune into today. And I'm so incredibly grateful for you gifting us your most precious resource, your time. So until next time, mwah.